Thank you all for joining us today. Thanks for being here. We're starting now. We're going to keep everyone muted, so the programming goes without interference. If you need to say anything, please raise your hand or put a comment in the chat. We have Spanish interpretation and English interpretation available today, and audio description. Also, please let us know if you have any other access needs that are not being met right now. And just a couple of other notes on access. We tried our best to meet everyone's needs prior to this meeting, setting up this meeting today so that we can all join virtually in this time of this pandemic, right? We thought it would be ended by now, but here we are. So beautiful to see everyone though, and so excited to share today's programming with you all. And collective access, we're going to practice that throughout this whole meeting. Please be proactive in letting us know what you need so that we can also get that for you. And when you're speaking, I didn't do this before I started speaking, but introduce yourself. Say your name. I'm Dawson. Hello. So that people who are on their phones or not on video can hear and know who's speaking, right? Before taking turns on speaking later on in this programming, try to give a brief visual description of yourself. So again, people who are blind or visually impaired can also hear who you are. Yeah, so I think that's all the notes that I have that I should go over right now. Again, we're going to keep making this space accessible and engaging and fun for everyone. And thank you all for helping us do that throughout this meeting. So Lupita, my co-host, is going to welcome us all again in Spanish.
Muchas gracias por acompañarnos. Estamos encantados de tenerlos aquí. Escucharemos música maravillosa, hablaremos sobre incapacidades, edad, raza e incapacidades, miembros de SDA, y disfrutaremos mutuamente de nuestra compañía. Haremos algunas rifas. Por favor, esperen hasta el final si lo pueden hacer. Igual que el año pasado, tendremos bailes y fiestas al final.
Yes, thank you. So now, without further ado, I would love to welcome our Executive Director, Jessica Lehman, to speak about today's event. Yes, please welcome Jessica.
Hi, everyone. It is so good to be here. So, I'm hearing Spanish. I don't know if that's the wrong line. Maybe I'm on the wrong line. So it has been a hard year, to say the least. Last fall, we had an event where our theme was comfort in community. And I just can't stress how much that's been the case. That I get such comfort from being in community with all of you. And I know that so many of our community members say the same. That now we see that connections are just more important than ever. We've built connections through mutual aid to fight isolation and meet people's basic needs. We are reaching across communities and across movements to work together for racial justice, immigrant justice, economic justice, and disability justice. This past year has brought hardship, grief, and struggle, but together we have found opportunity and potential. Over the past year, SDA's members learned to use Zoom. Give a shout out if this year you you started using Zoom far more than ever before.
Definitely.
We discovered car caravans and online actions. SDA built a new group, our CJA, African American Racial and Social Equity and Justice Alliance, recognizing that our Black and African American members and staff need a space to share experiences and strategize together. We renewed our commitment to language justice, and we learned how to better hear and value experiences of people from around the world. And SDA officially expanded to the East Bay, recognizing that our issues are regional and that connecting with folks across the Bay will help build a stronger senior and disability movement. I want to thank our newest staff. SDA's staff has grown. So welcome to Regina, Visma, and Yessie. And thank you to all. Yes, let's pause and give them a round of applause. And if the spotlighter wants to embarrass them, feel free to spotlight the three of them so they can give away and people will see who our newest staff are. And thank you to all SDA staff, board members, and partners for your incredible tenacity and commitment. Tonight is about not only celebrating senior and disability action, but it's about celebrating all of us, celebrating our communities, all that we have done together and all that we know we can do together. Thank you to all of you for sustaining SDA in the past and for continuing to give to the movement. While I'm acknowledging people, I also want to acknowledge some exciting changes at the city level. So I'm going to let our spotlighters know to get ready. Shireen McSpadden moved on from the Department of Disability and Aging Services to head up the Department of Homelessness and Supportive Housing. And we talk about building new pathways to liberation. Having Shireen in this, you're on candid camera, Shireen, you can give a wave if you want to. Having Shireen in this position to have someone with that understanding and expertise and commitment to seniors and people with disabilities to work on housing and homelessness is critical. So thank you so much, Shireen. We're really excited to work with you. And taking her place at DOS, the Department of Disability and Aging Services, is Kelly Dearman, another incredible woman, a woman of color who comes from the community, who is such a wonderful ally of disabled people and of seniors. Is Kelly here? I know she has a busy evening, so I don't know if she's been able to get on. So we wanted to honor Kelly and just let you know we're all behind you in this role and excited to work together. And then Ali says, can't find her, but she's here in spirit on the spotlight. And we can unspotlight Shireen if you want. And then taking Kelly's place is Eileen Norman, another very capable woman who's going to be leading the San Francisco IHSS In-Home Supportive Services Public Authority. So the pandemic is not over, but so many people are eager to get back to how things were. We stand with all those who say that normal didn't work. The old normal was racist, ableist, ageist, and xenophobic. Now that we've learned to do things online, disabled people and seniors have new ways to participate. Let's preserve that. I have great hope that seeing the huge numbers of people dying in nursing homes will allow our society to finally invest in home care and other long-term services and supports to keep people out of crowded institutions. Let's make sure that the racial justice protests from last year do not end, that this new understanding, this new public discussion of racial justice only grows until we really achieve justice. It's up to us to make the most of this moment. Let's learn from the past year, hold on to the connections we've built, and continue to create new pathways to liberation. So thank you to everyone. Have a great time tonight.
Yay, thank you, Jessica. Let's give Jessica a round of
Thank
applause.
you.
Yes, for starting us off. And one more note to everyone who puts things in the chat, if there's anything that needs to be read out loud, we will be doing that. just so that everyone can get the message, not just those who can see the chat. And now I would like to welcome Lupita to continue with emceeing.
Estamos muy orgullosos de presentarles al coro del Centro Comunitario de Música Bayanihan Equity. Este coro es parte de un programa de la ciudad con 12 centros a través de 12 diferentes vecindarios. Aquí está, que está diseñado para proveerles beneficios personales, sociales y artísticos que la actividad musical le puede brindar a los ancianos y adultos con incapacidades. El coro Bayanihan Equity está organizado con el centro donde se hacen las sesiones. El coro está dirigido por Robin Estrada y se enfoca en música de las Filipinas. Durante la pandemia, el coro apoyó el trabajar de manera digital y de uno por uno. Y esto, ustedes verán a 3 de ellos en esta presentación. Sampaguita, Baquia, Mo, Neneng y Rosas Pandán. Este coro incluye a miembros del SDA, Aurea Durán, Nati Galinato, Zenaida Bunagan, Elmira Lagundi, C. Amío, Jean Navarro, Rosalía Tubera, Angie Bagares y ahora Robin Estrada, el director del coro, nos dirá algunas palabras acerca del coro.
Robin Estrada. Let's welcome Robin Estrada. There you go.
Hello, everyone. We have prepared 2 songs today. One is La Flor de Manila, or Sampaguita, which is the national flower of the Philippines. It was written in 1903 by a female composer. Her name is Dolores Paterno, and lyrics written by Pedro Paterno. And it talks about how the flower represents our culture and the people who live in our country, loyal and loving. And then the second song is a tragic song, actually. It's a song of lost love. And Bakya is the clogs, like shoes. And I think the song says, what happened to the shoes I gave you? You didn't wear it anymore. Why didn't you wear it? It represents my love for you. So maybe you don't love me anymore. So that was a message of the song. And the next one, the third one, is actually a duet, Rosas Pandan. And it will, I think, be introduced by the singers later before she speaks. It's Angie Bagares will be speaking in a little while. So let's listen for the 2 songs first.
pag-asa'y sa gitna pumalag. Sa bakyang yeneng dari Basilaya, kung inaasalang yan ay munting bagay, huwag itapon aking buhay, ang halin kong kailanman. Ang aking pag-asa'y sa gitna pumalag. Sa bakyang yeneng dari Basilaya, kung inaasalang yan ay munting bagay, huwag itapon aking buhay, ang aliw kong kailanman.
Yay!
Bravo.
Sa pagitan ng aming ibig, namulaklak na sakdal ng yumi, ikaw ang mutyang pinili, nasa gisag ng aming lahi, at ang kulay mo'y binusila, ay diwan ng aming pangarap. Ang iyong bangot halimuya sa tuwing ay aming nilalanghap. Sa pagitan ng aming ibig, bulaklak na sakdal ng yumi, ikaw ang mutyang pinili, nasa gisag ng aming lahi, at ang kulay mong binusila, ay diwan ng aming pangarap. Ang iyong bangot halimuya sa tuwing ay aming nilalanghap. O bulaklak na nagbibigay ligaya, o paraluman, mutyang sampagitan, larawang bistula ng mga dalaga. Ikaw ang tanging bituin, hiraman ng kanilang ganda. O bulaklak na nagbibigay ligaya, o paraluman, mutyang sampagitan, larawang bistula ng mga dalaga. Ikaw ang tanging bituin, hiraman ng kanilang ganda. Ang iyong talulong, ang siyang tunay, naming sagisag, Maria si Rosas Pandan, gikan pantaon sa kabukiran. Kaninyo makiguban-uban sa gisaulo nga kalingawan. Balita day akong puhunan, mo'y kabilin sa akong ginikanan. Awit nga labing karan, nga garbuning atong kamungturan. Ay, 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 sa atong balitaw, manindot pagsayaw, daya mo gang kabugnaw. Tikadong, 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 hayalo sa sinodong, nagtanaw, paninday, nagtabisayang lawan. Ay, 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 sa atong balitaw, manindot pagsayaw, daya mo gang kabugnaw. Tikadong, 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 hayalo sa sinodong, nagtanaw, kaninday, nagtabisay ang lawan.
Yay!
Amazing.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Wow. Can everyone give a round of applause to the Bayanina Choir? That was so beautiful. I heard people saying that they had goosebumps and beautiful voices. Great to see our members, our talented members. Most of the choirs are members, right? Can we give an applause to that too? Thank you so much for being our members, our dear Filipino choir. Now I would like to give the mic again to Lupita to introduce Cora McCoy.
Ahora les presentamos a Cora McCoy, miembro de SDA y miembro de nuestra mesa directiva y también compañera defensora. Escucharemos de Cora sobre el trabajo del SDA. Gracias, Cora.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Cora, a member of SDA. This year, our 2021 annual celebration embodies the mission statement and values of the Senior and Disability Action Group. To teach seniors and people with disabilities to fight for individual rights and social justice, working with individuals, support, and collective action to create a city and world in which everybody can live well and safely. The SDA priorities for 2021 are to expand rental subsidies for seniors and people with disabilities, win free Wi-Fi, also ensure that COVID vaccine goes to seniors and people with disabilities, mainly those from Latin and African American communities. The SDA doors are open, extending a warm invitation to become a member or participate with us in our programs and resources, empowering individuals and collectively, building pathways to liberation for all seniors and people with disabilities. Thank you.
Hey,
Bravo.
thanks so much.
Gracias a Cora por compartir. Muchas gracias, Cora. Ahora, nuestros primeros 3 premios de la rifa. Los primeros ganadores de la rifa son una tarjeta por $25 de Cole en hardware. La ganadora es Marcia Weisbrot. La ganadora es Marcia Weisbrot. Segundo premio, tarjeta de $50 de Bird and Beckett, una librería y centro de jazz en Glen Park. El ganador es Corinne Verdin. Tercer premio.
Wait,
Bravo.
can we stop for a second and congratulate Marcia
And Corinne
Corinne
Verdin.
Verdin? Woo!
Bravo. Tercer premio, Cuentos de Baranga Soma. Esta colección de libros es producto de los talleres de la sección de los talleres de escritura de Barangay Soma, arte y escritura. La ganadora es Sondra Carter. Sondra Carter. Gracias.
Hey, thank you so much, Lupita, and congratulations again to folks who have won our first 3 raffle gifts. Woo!
Bravo.
So if you have not heard your name called, we have 2 more rounds of raffle drafting. So keep your ears. Anyway, you might hear your name called further on, but right now I would like to welcome Laura Leesom and Dave Nago to talk about SDA and our fundraiser today.
Excellent. Thank you and good evening, everyone. My name is Laura Leesom. I'm the Vice President of Central Operations at Institute on Aging, and very, very happy to be here in community celebrating tonight and all the hard work SDA did over the past year, and look forward to what's to come. I'd like to let Dave introduce himself and then we'll dive in here.
Hi, everybody. Welcome tonight. Laura, good to see you. And welcome to what we're going to have a lot of fun. I'm Dave again from Curry Senior Center, and we are trying to raise $5,000 in the next 5 minutes. And the quicker we go, the quicker we'll move on to the next event. But what I want to say first about SDA and Jessica and her team is they are good at raising hell. You know, who else was up at 3 a.m.? Maybe 15 people on that budget night. It was Jessica. And I think, you know, we owe a lot to her and her team. And, you know, they're nimble, they're here, they're now, they're relevant. So you go, team. So $5,000 in 5 minutes. How are we going to do that, Laura?
Well, I think we should give folks an opportunity to reflect on what an awesome year it was for SDA, and just give huge appreciation for all the new ways you found to advance our social justice movement. And I'd like to start by just also acknowledging that your expansion to the East Bay means that our support means more than ever, because it allows you to continue to serve more communities. And I applaud all the volunteers and all the staff who have advanced all of the efforts in just a really tiring year. So my hope is we can raise this money, Dave, so that we can help support SDA as they continue to expand the number of members they get to serve, to be at that table, to be our 3 a.m. in the halls of City Hall, fighting for everything we know that we all support. So let's start with, I don't know, what do you think, Dave? Like
I think
$500 donation?
No, how about this? How about we start with $1,000 donation? And I think how are we going to do this? If you wink or you blink, but you're going to make a, how we do with the donations?
You're on the hook. So keep an eye out. No, we're gonna put a link in the chat, not a wink.
Here it is. Here's the link.
There it is. Thanks, Sarah. And we'd invite you also to tell us why you're making a donation. You can raise your Zoom hand. You can go to the link. We will keep an eye out. I think we've got some spotters. So raise your hand or put in the chat, and we'd be happy to make sure that we can hear why you're making a donation to the SDA effort.
Yeah, can you believe it? Most people were just trying to hold on in the last year, and these guys went to the East Bay.
Unbelievable.
Wow. So we're looking for $1,000 is our lead gift. If there's a lead gift, if not, that's okay. How about Laura?
Yeah.
How about a $500 donation? Oh, not for you, but we're looking for a $500 donation out there for anybody. So what you do there is go into the chat and or if you raise your hand.
Oh, I saw the interpreter raise their hand.
I think that's $10,000 already. Mark raised his hand 15 times already.
How about this? How about we drop the donation we're looking for and open it up? Oh, Rita.
Rita.
Thank
Hooray,
you,
Rita.
$1,000 donation from Rita.
Wow.
Thank you
That's
so
a
much.
great
Everybody give
start.
Rita a round of applause. Thank you so much. We're on our way
Bravo.
there.
All right.
Rita rocks.
Heck yeah. So we passed 500.
So let's go back to 500. Anybody out there, the 500? We're still looking at the 500 because I know I know somebody who already agreed to the 250, but we don't want to get there yet. We want to do the 500, any 500s. Okay, Stacy. Thank you. Stacy for $100.
Nice.
Okay, so Laura, did you don't have anybody in mind that was for 250?
Let me think here. How about Dave? How about I'll go with 250.
Look at that.
Anyone else 250? Come on, join me here.
Guess what? I will match. How about that?
Yes.
I was a little bit lower, but Laura made me do it. You see what she was saying to me in the chat? You better do it, Dave.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so Dave and I are both in for 250. Anyone else in for 250? And again, thank you for those of you who have already donated. The chat is has the link in it, or you can raise your Zoom hand and we will call on you. If you've made a donation, tell us why you're donating.
Why am I donating?
Yeah.
Because Jessica does all the work. I know colleagues that are there till midnight, 1 a.m., but she was there till 3. Is that right, Jessica? Hey, Bill Hirsch, I see.
Nice, Bill.
I see my buddy Bill. Good. So we're at the. Why don't we go to the $100 range? So any $100. I'm looking at $100. I'm looking at those hands raised. Got a lot of blank screens, but you can just go ahead and go to that link.
I see David Williams there raising his hand.
Yeah, Kathy DeLuca, I know you. Thank you, Kathy. Mary Lopez, thank you. Oh, it's rolling in now. I can't.
Awesome.
I can't count, but I think we're over the 2,000 mark. Megan, thank you.
Okay, Huli
and Kim, thank you.
All right, we're moving up rather. Okay.
This is fantastic. Tell us where we are, would you, Sarah, on our goal? I think we're not quite at the 5-minute mark, and we're not quite at the $5,000 mark.
We've raised about $2,000 right now.
Nice.
Oh, so that's another way of doing it. We were going to do 5,000 in 5 minutes, but maybe what we'll do is we will stop talking once we get to 5,000, and then we'll go.
Or we could, or yeah.
Tracy, Tracy, hello, Tracy. Long time no see. Thank you for your support as well. This is this is an interesting way of doing it. If you've gone to many events, people are around the room and they raise the paddle, and so now we're just doing the Zoom.
It's so much more fun in person, isn't it? But this is a pretty good second because we get to come together.
Yeah, I just wish I had a better background, because you can see my office. Laura's a little bit cleaner. See, her office is a little bit clean. But anyway, how about we're going to the $50 range. How about the 50s? We get a couple 50s in there. Okay.
Do I see a hand? Do I have a spotter?
You know, I have a series of jokes that I can start bringing up here in a minute.
Fantastic, Dave.
But it usually kills my staff meetings when I have them. So I don't want to kill this group, but
maybe hold off on those.
Okay, all right.
Will someone make, yes, thank you, Catlin. Fantastic. Catlin's making donations so Dave doesn't have to make jokes.
Yeah, I can.
Thank you.
Nikki, they're rolling in.
Thank you, and Alice. I see a hand from Carolina.
Thank you. So I think we're up to about the 3,000. My calculator is just burning here. Isn't that right, Sarah?
Yeah, between the page and then the and all the pledges here. So yeah, we're about at 3,000.
Awesome. I see Susan's iPad. Susan, I see your hand is raised. Thank you.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you, Matthew.
It's Guadalupe. Me too with 50, please.
Yay, thank you.
Hey, Amy, I think you may be part of here we go. You may be part of the family. And here we this 180 goal of 10,000. Wow.
No, actually, disregard that number. We've got our own numbers going on tonight. Disregard that number.
It looks good. It keeps adding.
It looks good. Yes.
There's a lot of zeros there. I couldn't count.
Maybe we should have been more aggressive, Dave.
Okay, so let's
5,000.
Let's go back to the 2,500. I think Laura, when she's typing in her 250, hopefully she might put that extra zero. Well, folks, keep it going. Again, you know, one of the things that Jessica and her team does not get is they don't get a lot of government funding. So this funding really gets them to go outside of the box, to go to the next level, to pick up new things and to be all that. So it really makes a big difference. Anyway, I think, Laura, did you have anything else to say? I say people keep on giving.
Yes. I wanted to open it up for the $25 range and see if we could get any $25 donations in the spirit of helping SDA expand the fight to make our communities less ableist, less ageist, less racist, and less xenophobic. So let's see if we can get a few more $25 donations, and then we'll end Dave's spotlight and we can let him tell maybe one joke. I don't know.
Yeah, I gotta go. Well, I don't know. I can't.
Maybe one. I see Kathy's hand. Thank you, Kathy.
Okay.
Awesome. The link will be available throughout the course of the night. Please feel free. Enjoy a libation. You know, sometimes that helps with the generosity. We can't wait to do this in person in the near future. SDA, thank you to the staff and volunteers who are hosting this event. Thank you for all the hard work. and we will continue to support you in all the fantastic work you do.
Thank you very much, folks. And just because I said I was going to do a joke, and here it is. So how much does a pirate earring cost? You're right, a buccaneer. All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Laura and Dave. Thanks so much for helping us raise our funds. Yeah, and so now, as Laura said, it's a perfect time for you all to grab a drink, to enjoy yourselves, grab a snack. But our program is keep going, so stay with us. So right now, we're going to announce 3 more raffle prize winners. So we give and we take, right? So now the prize is 3 sets of earrings created by our staff member Regina Lynn, who's here today too. Thanks so much, Regina. And the winner is Rita and David Lehman. Thank you so much, and thank you so much, Rita, for your donation as well. Woo! If you wanted the earrings though, don't worry. We have another set, 3 sets of earrings created by Regina Lynn. Thanks so much again, Regina. And the winner is Curran Burdine. Woo! Congratulations, Curran. And last but not least, for this round of raffle prizes, we have a book from our disability book reading series, Demystifying Disability by Emily Ladau. This book is described as an approachable guide to being a thoughtful and informed ally to disabled people with actionable steps of what to say and what to do and what to not do as well. So it's a book about how you can help make this world a more inclusive space, which everyone here is probably interested in. So the winner, drumroll please, is Juli Milanese. Woo! Congratulations.
Yay.
Yay. So now we're going to have a conversation between Andrea Lavon and Dr. Louise Aronson. But before we do that, I would like to introduce our board member, Nikki Brown Booker, who is going to introduce our speakers today. So Nikki Brown Booker is the program officer for the Disability Inclusion Fund at Borealis Philanthropy. And as a person with a disability and a biracial woman, she has long been interested in the intersection of disability justice and racial justice. Nikki has served as an executive director for Easy Does It, Emergency Services, a leader in Hand, the Domestic Employers Network, and of course, a member of Senior in Disability Action. Welcome, Nikki. Thank you.
Thank you, Dawson. So glad to be here and help out with the fundraiser tonight. So I want to first introduce Louise Aronson. Louise is a leading geriatrician. I'm not sure how I can say that. Geriatrician,
like pediatrician,
right?
On the other end,
writer, educator, professor of medicine at UCSF, and the author of the New York Times bestseller and Pulitzer Prize finalist, Ogrehood: Redefining Aging, Transforming Medicine, and Reimagining Life. She has also published multiple articles on ageism and COVID-19, including a New York Times opinion piece entitled COVID-19 Kills Only Old People Only. Why are we okay with old people dying? So I also want to introduce Andrea Lavon. Andrea is a communications consultant, inclusion specialist, and founder and president of Lavon Consulting. As impact producer for the Oscar-nominated documentary Crit Camp, A Disability Revolution, she leads efforts to promote understanding of disability as a social justice issue and build across lines of difference. Andrea is a strong advocate for exploring disability from an intersectional lens. So hi, Andrea. Hi, Louise. Thank you so much for being here this evening. So why don't we just start off with the question of, why don't you tell us a little bit about your work and what issues you find are most pressing right now?
Want to go first, Andrea? You have the better glasses, so I think you win if there's a race. Those are so cool.
Oh my, that's okay. I for that reason. Hi, everybody. I'm Andrea. I don't know if image visual description is helpful for this conversation, but I'm going to provide one. So I'm sitting in my living room. It's darker than normal. I'm wearing a yellow dress and a kind of blue and teal scarf, and have my teal couch and other decor behind me. And indeed, my glasses have a little wing flare. They are tan and orange, and I'm Black and have shoulder length hair. So the question, what is the work? Man, we're doing so many exciting things. A lot of folks know the work that we have done around Crit Camp and as impact producers, and what that's really done over the past year. What we've seen is just the need for conversation and representation. Just acknowledging the fact that when it's important to first be able to see ourselves reflected in day to day, it really reflects our, seeing ourselves really demonstrates our value. And so we need more of that. So that's one of the things that we're working on. As a strategy and communications firm, we are just working with a variety of brands, nonprofits, both around understanding the intersections between race and disability, which I think we'll get to today, specifically as relates to disability justice. And then also, again, thinking about what organizations are doing internally to make sure that disability is included in all of the work that even their employee engagement, but also externally in how they're reaching disabled folks, not just as consumers, but again, as folks that are really, that we are worthy of being included in everything that they're doing. So we have all kinds of things going on. Crit Camp is still live and well, and so we're doing a lot of things around that still. And just excited to be in conversation with you all today.
Excellent. So I will follow suit. So I am a middle-aged white woman with sort of probably more salt than pepper hair at this point, and some glasses that are tortoiseshell-ish and a white top. And the work I do has mostly to do with aging, but it overlaps with disability and race and gender in every possible way. So those are things I think about a lot, whether I'm in the office taking care of patients or teaching students, or in the age of pandemic, working with San Francisco Department of Public Health and the California Department of Social Services, trying to ensure that older people with disabilities are getting a fair shake, which actually they haven't, but we have tried. So I'm sure we're going to get to that more also. But mostly I think about aging and old age all the time.
So you both kind of mentioned, racism and ageism and all the different isms are really affecting us right now. How do you see those racism, ableism, and ageism being linked with each other?
I think one of the things that is a huge problem in every aspect of society is that in the age of sort of science and tech, everybody wants to reduce everything to a single soundbite or a single category, and it denies the reality that is most of our lives. And that makes it really hard to have the right appreciation, services, data, whatever else you need to do the right things by people. And so I think those things are always linked, and that we're doing lately a much better job about talking about the intersectionality, whether it's the fact that, and that this is a statistic I quote often, so people all know that older people are more likely to have died from COVID. But most people don't know that if you take people between the ages of 75 and 84, if you were Black, you had a 900-fold risk. If you were Latinx, you had a 500-fold risk. If you were Native American, it was about 200-fold. And if you were Asian Pacific Islander, it was about 150-fold. So I think these things really matter. And actually on gender, ironically, with age, for COVID, men were more likely to die. But in terms of aging generally, it's more about women. Women are far more likely to live into old age, and women are far more likely to be the caregivers of people with aging and disability. And there's also that overlap of people aging with a disability and people aging into a disability. And sometimes there's tension among those communities. And I think one of the best things we can do is, stronger together.
I mean, honestly, like ableism and racism they're directly linked. All of these things are directly linked, and one does not exist without the other. T.L. Lewis talks about them being inextricably linked, recognizing that racism is tied to ableism is tied to anti-Blackness. When we look at how disability has been centered historically, it's been depicted from a very white-centered perspective, and yet statistics really prove otherwise. If we look at, the history, even when it comes to race and particularly Blackness from slavery on, and how, all of ableism is really linked to productivity and to thinking about whose minds are normal, whose minds are intelligent, who is excellent, all of those things, it's all connected one to another. When we look at capitalism itself, again, and how, lack of access when it comes to education, when it comes to what language is deemed appropriate. I mean, it's all it's all together. And really who has been deemed historically as less than human. And again, when you look at Blackness and slavery, and when we look at eugenics and all of that in connection to oppression as relates to ableism, again, it just is literally one doesn't exist without the other. So yeah, that's where we're at. And I think when we look at it today to the points that were just made, we see it, in COVID response or lack thereof, and how it's affecting the Black community. We look at voter suppression and the communities that are being affected as, when it connects to ableism and racism. We look at, again, the school to prison pipeline and how those are, ableism. It's all, interconnected. So.
Yeah, everything is connected. I really agree with both of you about that. I mean, particularly with this pandemic right now, I mean, I know that I'm tired and I'm wanting it to be over. But, clearly COVID is not over with us yet. So what do you think we really, if anything, that we've learned from the past year and a half, particularly around ageism and ableism related to the COVID? I think each of you talked about it a little bit, but maybe you can just expand on that. And how do we not forget, once this thing is over, or, how do we not forget about and really learn from this experience?
So for those that don't know, when we started on the project with Crip Camp, it was with it was me and the late Stacy Park Milburn. And one of the things that when we started on Crip Camp, it was like a week before the shutdowns began. And I remember, talking to the producers of the film, talking with, other parts of the team, and they were trying to figure out how, with this film coming out and the traditional ways that a campaign, an outreach campaign would be run, how it would be possible to really do anything and to affect change the way that they wanted to. And I remember us having a meeting, with them, Stacey and I saying, that this is what we've known all along as disabled people, that actually, we know how to do. We've always been innovative, we've been creative, and quite frankly, we've been convening online and showing that it's a, that there's success therein and opportunities to build community, perhaps in even greater ways than that can happen in person. And so the rest is kind of history. I think about the fact that, we initially wanted to host an event that maybe would bring together 50 people in person, reviving a Crip Camp. And then when we decided to do a virtual event last summer, we were upwards of nearly 10,000 people from around the world that were able to come together. So it just proves that we know what's up. You know what I mean? Like, disabled people know how to make things happen. And, not because we're aiming to please anyone else or exceed anyone's expectations. We're just existing the way that we should be able to. But it's proven that, and so my hope is that that will, continue. I would say that that's one of the reasons why, we are having opportunities now, even organizationally, to continue, because people are acknowledging it. There's a lot more that needs to be done. But, the recognition that virtual accessibility actually, here we are meeting on Zoom, people were like, how can people work from home? Oh, wow, it's actually benefiting everyone. Yeah, obviously there's still more problems, and we experienced a lot just as relates to healthcare, those of us that have PCAs, and how so much that continues to need to be done. But I'm hoping that the learnings that we have had, and how so much has moved into ways that at least can be accessible for those of us that need those things, that they continue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. I love that it forced us to sort of accelerate this digitization, although I still see in my practice a big divide that has a lot to do with income, race, and advanced old age. I guess apparently the infrastructure bill passed the Senate. So maybe we could have universal internet and have more access, although of course people still need devices. But I do love the fact that people don't have to waste all their time and energy, getting to something, and that it's more accessible to so many more people. I think that's a great move forward. I also hope, in terms of all the care systems, that we'll pay more attention. I'm not sure people have a greater understanding of home-based care, which is of course the vast majority of care after this. Because it was sort of out of sight, out of mind, although we all fought back against the governor when he wanted to cut those services right when everybody was dying in nursing homes, which was just brilliant, really, if you think about it. Anyway, luckily that didn't happen. But I also think I spent a lot of time working with facilities, and what we saw was there's a single organization overseeing, huge facilities for very wealthy people who sometimes pay, $12,000 a month and $1 million to get in, and then little board and care facilities where you have much younger people with disabilities. And the same rules really didn't apply. And at the same time, even though those places were set up to emphasize the person and the social environment, there were clearly some health risks. So I'm hoping we're going to think more about how do we enable people to thrive in their communities? How do we create communities that are accessible to all? Because it's oftentimes that's forcing people into homes, not a specific need. At the same time, it's also clear that people have really different needs and desires. And how do we make those places safe and get people in charge of them who understand the huge variability in the people who live there and in the sites themselves. But I feel like it's really brought all that to the fore, and I hope it's motivated all the people who've seen, good and bad happen there to keep standing up for these issues. I've certainly seen a lot more on social media. There've been more bills, to the California legislature than in previous years. So if we can all, in our fatigue, stay active, I think we could make some real change.
I mean, kind of piggybacking on that, what do you think are some new partnerships that you've seen that have helped us move towards justice and liberation? And are there any creative partnerships that you envision that could happen to help win liberation?
Sure, I can speak to that a little bit. I think that, again, going back to some of, well, actually what we're doing now and what we've seen throughout the campaign, impact campaign, is really the power of cross movement building. And so identifying, specifically, understanding that disability is a social justice issue, and those partnerships with organizations that perhaps haven't acknowledged disability as part of the work that they do, or perhaps they have, and really, coming together at those intersections to really ensure, because it really is, the concept of being stronger together. So, for example, we did a partnership with Color of Change, earlier on in the pandemic last year, to have a Disabled Creatives and Activists Relief Fund. And so Color of Change being the largest online community for Black people, coming together, acknowledging that 1 in 4 Black people are disabled, right? And so I think that, for those that are movement building organizations, grassroots, that are doing that level of work, when we can come together, specifically whether it's policy, whether it's program, anything of that nature, I think really has the power to affect long-lasting change. So those are my hopes for more of those types of partnerships.
Yeah, I think having people not deny the areas of overlap is really helpful, and seeing the strength of other groups, and that you strengthen. There's always some territory when there are humans. And you see a lot in aging groups. Well, we're not disabled, we're just old, or there's just these subtleties. But if we lived in a world that was okay with disability, it would be a world in which it was much easier to age. And if we lived in a world where it was okay to age, vice versa. So I think it's this notion of, like, when we see human beings and judge them as machines, which kind of started with the Industrial Revolution, and that just devalues so many people and feeds into prejudices. And I'm trying to think of ways in which this digital revolution, this fact that we're all, we've got so many people on Zoom tonight, how does that liberate and take us into a new era, past that horrible, human being as machine, and you want the fastest, quickest, the perfectly able-bodied, 22-year-old male sort of thing. How do we use this era to creatively help equalize across so many different areas and give people equal access and opportunities?
Great. I think we have time for just one more question. So let's talk about pride. I mean, what does it mean really to be proud to be disabled or to be older in your eyes?
I think it just means owning that you have humanity and rights, no matter what your age or ability status, right? I mean, I certainly see with old age, people begin apologizing for needing help, begin apologizing for things they can no longer do. But the fact is, if you live into old age, you have succeeded in making it through the human lifespan. It is normal and natural to need more assistance at various times of life. And actually, if we're honest, we all need assistance at all times of life. You know, it looks different for different ones of us at different periods. But I think everybody sort of owning their own rights and not apologizing for who they are or what they need, because the rights come with you as a person, not with any of your, you know, demographic attributes or whatever.
I see my friend Allie Cannington on here. We were in a conversation the other day, and this question came up. So I'm just going to kind of repeat what I said then, and that is that, you know, for me, pride has been an evolution, because I didn't grow up specifically as a disabled person. When, again, going back to the concept of not seeing yourself, often when you don't see yourself or know that there's a history connected to you, there's not this, you know, you don't even understand your value to therefore have pride. And so I think that, you know, there was a point at which I started growing kind of disability pride when I started learning about the disability rights movement, things of that nature, and going, okay, great. And I think I separately had Black pride because I grew up in a family that could appreciate, you know, that taught me a Black history, but they still were kind of going parallel. And I think, you know, as I have evolved as a person, and learned more and have really, you know, been steeped in disability justice, it's really the pride now for me is being all of those things at the same time, not feeling like I have to leave one at the door in order to, you know, be the other, depending on the space that I'm in, but that I can be fully Andrea, which is a Black disabled woman of faith and all of these other things, and not, and be thrilled about that, which has been a journey, and still daily is. So that's pride for me.
Thank you so much for both of you for being here tonight. This is a really good, great conversation. So, pass it back over.
Ooh, thank you all so much. That was such a beautiful conversation. I feel like we all learned so much about the intersections, right? Because a lot of times people, when we talk about senior and disability action, only hear the first or the second word, senior or disability. And we really want to highlight that we're here as senior and disability action. Thank you so much again to our speakers, and thank you so much, Nikki, for facilitating that beautiful conversation. I'm going to welcome Sarah right now to give an update about our fundraiser.
Hi, thank you, everybody. I'm just overwhelmed with how generous everyone has been tonight. It's just been so wonderful. It's such a wonderful evening. And at this point, we have raised about $4,000, just shy of $4,000. Our goal is $5,000 for during the period of the fundraiser. So if we could just have 10 more donations of $100, we would get there. So I'm going to put this link, and we've got about 8 more minutes. Let's see if we can do it. Let's do it. Let's make it to 5,000. Thank you, everybody.
Sarah?
Yes, Huli.
I'll do $100.
Okay, thank you, Huli. Yay, thank you, Huli.
Okay, and before we do the last raffle, I would like to introduce our dear member Angie Bagaras, who you also have seen in the choir videos, who is going to share about senior and disability action. Angie, floor is yours. Hi, Angie. Oh, wait, you're muted. Wait, Angie, you're muted. Unmute yourself. Yes.
Okay. We are the seniors, mighty, mighty seniors. Yes, we are. Thanks to the Senior and Disability Action who keeps us from the endangered cohort of people in our society by conducting classes, workshop called Senior University on the Survival School, held at Cannon Keep Senior Center and other places in the city. Seniors and people with disabilities joined the rally for free Muni at the City Hall actively last February 2015. Thanks to the city, it was approved and granted effective March 1, 2015. We also want to express our thanks to our friend and big brother, Pyra of the SDA, who encouraged and inspired the seniors to do action and made these activities possible. The Senior and Disability Action is our safety net amid this pandemic and communicates to the seniors via Zoom. The most essential and immediate need of the seniors is all we want for Christmas is a free Wi-Fi and a free tablet. Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. Cuando, tell us when. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Angie. That was beautiful. Thank you. And now I welcome Lupita.
Yes.
Again. Yes. There we go.
Los últimos ganadores de la rifa son, primer premio, 2 boletos del Museo de Arte Moderno de San Francisco. La ganadora es Jacqueline Murray. Bravo. El segundo premio es el libro de nuestra serie de lectura de SDA. Visibilidad. Historias en primera persona del siglo XXV. Editado por Alice Wong. Este libro nos permite dar una mirada a la rica y compleja experiencia de los discapacitados, con énfasis en las pasiones y talentos de la vida diaria de esta comunidad. Invita al lector a preguntarse por su propio entendimiento. Celebra y documenta la cultura de las incapacidades ahora, en este momento. Mira hacia el futuro y el pasado con esperanza y amor. La ganadora es Nikki Bro Booker. Bravo, Nikki. El tercer premio son 2 boletos del Museo de Oakland, California. El ganador es Tim Magill. El cuarto premio es una cena para 2 personas en Puerto Alegre Restaurant. La ganadora es Sasha Bittner. Muchas gracias por su asistencia y sus contribuciones. Son altamente apreciadas. Muy buenas noches y hasta la vista.
Thank you. Woo! That was all of our raffle winners. But please, if you want to stick around, we're going to have some more music. and feel free to chat. Now you can feel free to unmute yourselves, right? And share what your reflections were from the conversation. We heard from Andrea Lavon and Dr. Luis Aronson earlier, so feel free to share your reflections and about the whole program, about the choir. Right now is a great time. We have the room open until 8 p.m. for us to mingle and socialize and bring that SDA energy. We are also going to have a dance party just like last year. Feel free to enjoy yourself in your own space, in your own room.
Can I make one more announcement about the fundraising? We are getting really close to 5,000, really close. We are currently at, if my math serves me right, we are currently at $4,600. So we just have $400 to go to make it to 5,000. And we are going to spend like 5 minutes watching a video that our members made during the budget season. And so we're excited to be able to show some of the work we've done in the last year.
Therefore, we are requesting that the board include $3 million in the budget to subsidize rent that is transferable to other buildings for seniors and people with disabilities. And also $3 million for senior operating subsidies, which are tied to the unit of the building.
Quiero pedirles a nuestros supervisores que pasen los 3 millones para los subsidios de alquiler para adultos mayores y personas con discapacidad. Gracias por su atención. Estoy segura que nos darán su apoyo.
I am from Puerto Rico, where we really take pride in taking care of our elders. And I think as a community, as a city, I think that taking care of the elders who have contributed so much to society is the best way that you could spend $3 million and possibly more.
Estoy aquí apoyando la petición de $3 millones de subsidios de alquiler para adultos mayores y personas con discapacidad. Gracias por su consideración.
Our community was already experiencing shortfalls in housing, and after COVID-19, this has exacerbated the shortages. We need these subsidies because of the racial inequity and poor treatment of our low and extremely low income residents and the unhoused.
Why don't they have a deeply affordable housing for the young people with disability? I am calling the attention of all the district supervisors. We are also human.
Please approve the $3 million for housing subsidies for seniors and people with disabilities. Please always include us seniors in your agendas so we can live better here in San Francisco safely.
I would also like to address the importance of the pilot wheelchair program that we're trying to start here at Senior and Disability Action. This would be a repair station because many people who are in wheelchairs or those who use mobility scooters aren't able to afford new batteries or they're not able to afford repairs. So with this program, they would people with low income would be able to come in and get a replacement battery or get the necessary repairs. I mean, we will even offer something as simple as a battery charge.
Every older person in this city who is low income has anxieties about not having a place to live and perhaps being on the street. This is extraordinarily painful. So let's do what we can to stop this kind of suffering in seniors.
It's very hard for us to make it. We can't afford it. We only make $11,000 a year, and that's very minimum for us to meet our housing. With the money we make, we can't afford to live here in San Francisco.
Action. Llevo mucho tiempo aplicando por lotería para una vivienda accesible y nunca he salido beneficiaria. Le pido a los supervisores que por favor inviertan más en viviendas de subsidio, porque así personas como yo y aún personas de la tercera edad pueden salir beneficiadas con esto.
I know this would have been helpful to me because I spent 13 years living in a veterans SRO looking for an apartment, and I kept getting bumped up down the Section 8 list. I live in an apartment, a junior 1-bedroom that I really like, that has everything I need practically, and I'm very happy, but it took a long time, and I think I like everyone else to have that too.
As a senior immigrant, I appreciate how our local government, provide and help all people, the poorest and disadvantaged too. Please approve the $3 million rental subsidy for seniors and people with disabilities. We need so much in our city. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Hey. Ooh, amazing. Thank you all for sticking with us and for speaking up and for advocating for ourselves in the city. Lupita, would you like to share anything?
I would like just to tell you how thankful I've been part of SDA. I found out a lot of benefits, things that I never imagined. I wasn't aware of all this knowledge in the class, this survival class, la clase de supervivencia was great. I'm thankful to you, to Jessica, Dasom, Sarah, all of you guys are great. You make possible this for us. So and on behalf of all the other seniors, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Blessings.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lupita. And thank you all for being here. And thank you all of our members, right, for making SDA what it is. Now we're going to start some music and some dance party. We're still raising the $425. So please continue pledging, supporting our work, telling your friends about us. And we're here. We're going to get free Wi-Fi for our seniors and people with disabilities this year, right? Woo! Okay. Let's, yeah, so keep giving and cue music, I guess. Dance party.